Hello everyone and welcome back. I hope things are well and I hope you are all enjoying the bank holiday and also now enjoying the summer break. Despite everything that's happened in the FA Cup final, I'm still quite optimistic with Newcastle. I feel like the summer has now come at a great time for us. No longer do we have the excuse of the Tonali suspension going into next season, so we're going to have him back, which is more or less a brand new signing. On top of that, we don't have European football, which means that domestic cups and the Premier League. No excuses, we don't have extra games. We have the least amount of games against any of the top 8. And we're a team now that has a point to prove. You've seen it on social media. I've seen the likes of Sky Sports come out and they're just ripping the absolute mick out of us because we were chanting about Europe and then we aren't in Europe at all. And everyone's took us the opportunity to use Newcastle as a punching bag. So it gives us a real opportunity next season to not only make sure we get some form of European football, which now for Eddie Howe will put additional pressure on him because he has to perform with no extra matches, and now means that Newcastle, we've got to back ourselves to be a team that's fighting for top 4. We've got to be looking to get back into the Champions League. Whether we actually do that or not is another question, but all season long we've got to be amongst the top 4. I think we've got to push for it, especially Liverpool losing Klopp. They've now got to regroup with Slot. Manchester United are going to lose their manager. Chelsea's lost their manager. It's Guardiola's last season at Man City. I think Arsenal's the only real team now with stability. So Newcastle have got to be amongst it. We have to be. But I'm excited for it. We've got quite a lot to get into. And now we're going to realise the unfortunate truth in this video of some of the consequences we will face about not reaching the Conference League. And also some benefits as well. There's good and bad things to this, so we're going to get through it in this video. Now, as promised in my previous video in the Keep or Sell, I would update you on my health. And again, I just want to say straight away, thank you so much for all the updates. You can clearly see here the fact that I'm making videos again, the fact that I believe I'm a normal self. I'm doing better. Obviously my concussion now is fine in terms of making videos. It's fine in terms of walking around. I'm not at a real risk where I'm just going to, I guess, drop over. It's not going to happen anytime soon. I'll still be quite tired. So once I've made this video, once I've done a couple of things, I will probably end up going to sleep or something like that. So I can't put loads of pressure on my body, and I'm still not at a case where I would say I'm able to do any form of exercising. For example, I left my house for the first time today, and even then I was out for about half an hour and I just had to come back in. I haven't quite got the energy yet. But in terms of my health, for the most part everything feels alright now. I'll be going to the doctors anyway, so whatever it is, we'll get to the bottom of it. But I just want to update you anyway, because for example, when I wake up, I don't know what it is, but I feel quite a lot of pain in my heart, around my chest area. So that's something that's concerned me a bit because I've never had anything like that before. So we'll keep an update on it. But the reality is, I would love to give you an answer. I just don't have it. I don't know the truth myself. I don't know what's happening still. I don't know how it's happening. It's just something where I can't give you probably the answer that you want, and I can't give myself the answer that I want. So yeah, it's not ideal, but listen, I'm getting better. It's probably the point I wanted to say. And I just want to say again, thank you so much for all the support. It's a shame not being in Australia. It's a shame missing Newcastle's last game of the season. But if it was going to happen at some point, it's happened probably at a good time. It's happened at a stage where, having missed out on Champions League matches, I've seen all Newcastle's great moments last year. It wasn't the case where I've missed like a huge game. It's just that it's happened towards the back end of the season. I don't know why it's happened. That it's frustrating because chances are it probably will happen again. But I'm alive now. I'm doing well now. Obviously my family's alright. I'm okay. Sometimes that's just the most important part, in all honesty. I don't want to make this a deep topic in the video, but we just have to accept it's happening. We can only move on now. I've already moved on from it. It's just about looking ahead, and looking ahead in this case, Newcastle United's summer window. So let's look ahead at that now. If you guys enjoy the content, get down here, hit that subscribe button, smash the like button as well. You enjoy. We'll be at the Lionesses game against France in the Euro qualifier on Friday, and also England versus Bosnia at St James's Park. So I'm looking forward to the pair of them. Probably be a video with both of them in one video, so keep you updated for that. Probably come out on the Tuesday morning, I would have thought. So yeah, without further ado though, let's get into things. Now, we have to accept the fact that Newcastle will face some negatives due to the fact that we have missed out on European football. So one thing we do have to remember is the fact that we are, of course, going to be signing players in this window. So Lloyd Kelly is going to happen no matter what. What has been made out in social media is that Lloyd Kelly will join Newcastle regardless of the fact that Manchester United have won the FA Cup final. This is the player that's going to come in as a centre-half sign but can also play a left-back. I have watched a bit of him a Bournemouth, quality player. I'm quite pleased with getting him, especially on a free. You can't say no to that. Now, the other one, Tosin Adebayo, that's the interesting one because he, unlike Lloyd Kelly, has quite a lot of demand. So Newcastle want him. They made the deal clear to the player. However, teams like Manchester United want him, Chelsea want him, and when Newcastle are the only team that A, don't have European football, B, Chelsea and Man U are both bigger clubs than us in terms of software, in terms of squads, just in terms of everything really. Newcastle are just behind Manchester United in terms of squad, but ultimately Man U is still a team that, despite being poor in recent years, still won a Carabao Cup against us, still won the FA Cup final over the weekend. They still have won trophies, so you've got to give them credit on that. The problem being for Tosin Adebayo is, why would you want to join Newcastle? So straight away, I think he won't join Newcastle. I think that's a negative we already have received. I don't think this player will join us now, which is a shame because he would have been, again, a good free signing. But the truth is, we have to accept that if we miss out on European football, we will also miss out on some players. And I believe in this case, we won't get tossed in because of the fact that we don't have European football. I felt like that was a leading factor we would have had over Manchester United. But they got Europa League and now we have nothing, so we have to accept that. But as for our signings, I still don't think it will detract away too much from our big key signings. I feel like if a player wants to play for Newcastle, that they'll join regardless. And if it's a case where European football is a major key pull factor in bringing someone in, he's probably not the sort of player we want anywhere now. I don't want to disrespect the competition because the reality is we haven't won anything in 69 years, but it's still a Conference League. It's not the Europa League. It's not the Champions League. It still is the lowest of the European competition. So even though it's still European football, it's not the biggest. It's not the biggest factor in the world for the player joining your club. Like if someone join the clubs now, especially when you're getting players in Newcastle, you will project us to be top 5. I think if you got us anywhere below top 5 in the Premier League next season, I don't think it's realistic. I would expect Newcastle to be well and truly in for a top 4 race. Again, as I mentioned in the intro about what's going on for all the other teams, like Newcastle are definitely amongst them. So in terms of getting players, I don't think it would change too much, but obviously I've already shown you an example why someone won't join Newcastle, especially if he has other options he can go to. We do have quite a bit of positive news that I wanted to bring out. I'm going to start things off by talking about the brand new team in the Premier League, Ipswich Town. It's been so long since we've seen a team like that back, and I wanted to bring them up because, well, their standout star last season, left-back Leif, who picked up 18 assists in the Championship. Well, for one, he's a Newcastle United fan. He's played for Wolverhampton Boys Club. He's from the local area. And the reason why I wanted to address all this now is because his ambition, he has actually said directly in an interview, is his ambition is to play at St James's Park, is to play for Newcastle United. He wants that move one day. And although it's not the correct time to do so now, of course, we've got unbelievable talent, Lewis Hall. We have quite a nice left-back depth. Lloyd Kelly coming in at is yet another left-back. And our competition in left-back spot, we've got about 5 or 6 players that could probably play it if we wanted to. So it's not the correct time to happen. He's still quite a young player developing, but I feel like this is one that at some point down the line, if the time comes, then the time will come, and I believe we'll sign a guy like Leif Davis. Now, I had a chance actually to play with him before in FIFA, believe it or not. I played in him and Girth and Turf and our little teams. Anyone that knows anything about FIFA and football content creators, you know all about this. I have actually played with the guy before. Sound, down to earth, he's a good laugh. Obviously, you can tell he's a Newcastle fan basically, and it will be a move that if it naturally happens, then it'll happen. But for him, his best stance now is to stay at Ipswich. He needs time to develop as a player. Obviously, Ipswich are just back in the league. It's a no-brainer for him to stay. So it's not something that would happen this summer. But a couple of years' time, maybe he keeps playing well, Newcastle are interested in him. I think these are two things that are going to match, and I believe he'll join Newcastle one day. And I wanted to talk about Bruno as well, because the first thing I felt, the second Man U won the FA Cup final, straight away, Bruno is like, oh god, what's going to happen to these two? Straight away, I didn't think about the Conference League, didn't think about what players could bring in. I just thought straight away, oh god, are we going to lose anyone? Now, Bruno is the one out of the two that makes me break myself a bit, because Isak, this team's nailed down. I don't think we'll sell Isak. I think Isak's such an unsellable asset because you can't replace him, whereas in Bruno's case, as much as you don't want to sell him, there are a lot of midfielders out there, and of course we've got Tonali coming back, who will feel like a brand new sign, not to mention that we do have way more centre mids than we do in terms of strikers. So Bruno is the one that worries me out of the two in terms of one that could potentially go out the door. However, Bruno's dad has actually been giving us a bit of hope on social media, to say the least. So he's actually been basically sharing posts of Newcastle fans that are putting out saying 2024-25 soon emoji, obviously implying that Bruno is ready for next season for Newcastle, and his dad is sharing posts like that on social media. So even though it doesn't seem like much, I would argue that it's definitely a step in the correct direction. Of course, you got to remember Bruno has bought a second house now. I know for someone of his wealth, it doesn't necessarily mean that he couldn't just sell up both the houses and then leave anyway, which is definitely still possible. But it does look, well, I still back Bruno to stay. Honestly, if you would ask me now what do I personally think, Adam, I wouldn't rule it out, but I'm confident about Bruno staying. It's just something about him. It's just something about it where, yes, we've missed out, but I feel like it will kick the players on, because again, top four is kind of there for the taking. It's so there for the taking. I can't stress it. And the player point of view, again, you're missing out on Conference League. Well, the reality is you're missing out on a Thursday night going to Slovakia, going to Serbia, going to God knows where, Eastern European, Southern European, wherever it may be. You're going to places that, I mean, aren't going to be holidays. You're not going back to Madrid. You're not going to Paris. You're not going to Milan. You're going to be going to, I think, the footballing sense. Obviously, you got European games. You're going abroad, but then you got to come back on Sundays. It's still a lot, and it's not to the best European teams, with all due respect to the competition. And again, as Newcastle fan, you have to definitely respect the competition, because we would 100% treat it as a massive deal if we were to win it. But again, it's not the worst thing that could have happened. Like, honestly, it's not the worst thing that could have happened. We'll accept it, we'll move on, and we'll make sure we do well this season. A lot of pressure on us, but I expect us to do well. I expect to get the signs that we need in, and with less games to play, I fancy us even more, and I fancy us, honestly, in a domestic competition to give it a real go. And I'm hoping we go back to Wembley. That's one thing I would like to see us do next season. I'd love to go back to Wembley. But yeah, hopefully that video has given you something to take away from it. Had little bits of information. Nothing, I would say, majorly concrete at the minute. We know Lloyd Kelly's coming in. Unfortunately, we don't think Tossing's going to happen because of everything that's been going on. But I think Bruno will stay. And we know that Leif wants to join Newcastle one day. So we've still had quite a positive day. We've got quite a lot coming on the next few days. Expect news to start to pop out a lot more now that it's 100% certain we know what's happening next season. Expect a lot of news to come out, so stay tuned for it. I wish you guys all the best, and we'll see you all in the next one.